She left you 6 months ago. You just found out yesterday. Not because she hid it well, because you refused to see it not, because she was deceptive, because you were desperate, not because exit was invisible, because acknowledging. Exit meant admitting failure, and admitting failure meant facing what you've been avoiding for months. That you're alone, have been alone, will continue being alone until you stop pretending body in house means person in relationship. She's been gone since March. You're noticing in December 9 months, living with ghost, 9 months trying to fix what already ended 9 months, performing relationship for audience of 1. She stopped watching months ago, stopped participating, stopped caring whether you noticed or not. You thought distance was temporary, thought coldness was phase, thought silence was stress. You created narrative where she was still present, still invested, still yours, while she was mentally packing, emotionally detaching, psychologically preparing for announcement. You still haven't accepted, even though she made it clear in 1,000 ways that didn't require words. This isn't breakup analysis. This is death certificate. I'm not explaining how relationship died. I'm confirming it's been dead. You've been performing CPR on corpse, trying to revive what has no pulse, no breath, no life. And every attempt to save it just confirms how long you've been trying to resurrect what she buried months ago. I watched exact moment she left, watched her make decision, watched her emotionally exit while physically remaining. You were in same room, same house, same bed, completely unaware that woman next to you had already gone, that presence was performance, that body was shell, that marriage was corpse you kept pretending was sleeping. What if I told you this specific moment every woman leaves, invisible to man trying to save relationship, obvious to anyone watching from outside? That moment happened months ago, and everything since has been slow revelation of death that already occurred. You weren't trying to prevent breakup, you were trying to deny autopsy. Millions of men are living with ghosts right now. Women who left mentally while staying physically, who checked out emotionally while checking in bodily, who divorced internally while remaining married externally. And these men think they're in struggling relationships when they're actually in dead ones. Think they're fighting for love when they're fighting against reality. Think they're trying when they should be accepting. I've watched this delayed awareness destroy men across more time than you can imagine. Same pattern, man trying desperately to fix what woman already abandoned. Same confusion when she finally announces what's been true for months. Same devastation discovering he was alone long before he knew it. Today, I'm not explaining why she left. I'm showing you when she left and proving you missed it. This is delayed awareness autopsy. Pay very close attention. If you're watching this because she just told you it's over, if you're confused because you thought things were getting better, if you're devastated because you didn't see it coming, comment I missed IT below, because you need to see you're not alone. You need to see how many men lived with ghosts without knowing. Your comment helps another man realize he's not crazy for missing signs. He's not stupid for believing her presence meant her investment. Your comment confirms pattern is real, widespread, devastating. Now let me show you exactly when she left and how you missed it. Here's what you need to understand about female departure. It doesn't happen when she announces it. Doesn't happen when she moves out. Doesn't happen when divorce papers arrive. It happens in silent moment months before any of that. Moment she decides internally, emotionally, psychologically that she's done. And that moment, that decision, that's when she left. Everything after is just formality. You're focused on announcement. She's been living decision. You're reacting to words. She's been operating on conclusion reached months ago. You're experiencing shock. She's experiencing relief. Relief that performance is over, that pretending can stop, that she can finally make public what's been private reality for half year. This creates asymmetry that destroys men you're discovering. What she's been knowing, you're feeling. What she already processed, you're beginning. Grief she already completed, you're at start of emotional journey. She finished months ago. She's not cold because she doesn't care. She's cold because she already grieved, already accepted, already moved on. Internally, while you were still trying externally, She left in stages you didn't recognize. Let me show you timeline you missed. Stage 1. Decision crystallization. There's moment, specific moment, where she stops hoping, stops believing, stops imagining future where this works, where you change, where relationship becomes what she needs. That moment is decision crystallization. Moment possibility dies and certainty forms. Certainty that this won't work, won't improve, won't become what she wanted. This happened months ago, maybe a year, happened during conversation that seemed normal to you, seemed routine, seemed forgettable. To you, it was just another discussion. To her, it was confirmation. Final piece of evidence proving pattern won't change, that you won't change, that she needs to leave. Mark experienced this with Jennifer without knowing it. They had argument about his work hours. Same argument they'd had dozen times before. He promised like always to work less, be home more, prioritize family. Jennifer seemed to accept it like always. Argument ended, life continued. What Mark didn't know is that was last time Jennifer believed promise, last time she hoped he'd change, last time she imagined future where work didn't consume him. In that moment, during that conversation, she crystallized decision. This won't change. He won't change. I need to leave. She didn't announce it, didn't reveal it, didn't even fully acknowledge it consciously at first. But decision formed, hardened, became unchangeable reality she began operating from. Mark thought argument resolved like others. Jennifer knew it was different. It was moment she stopped fighting for marriage and started planning exit. 6 months later, when she asked for divorce, Mark was shocked. Where did this come from? Things were fine. We were working on it. We were getting better. But they weren't getting better. He was trying. She was leaving. He was hoping. She was planning. He was investing. She was detaching. Decision crystallization is invisible because nothing external changes. She doesn't start fight, doesn't create distance, doesn't announce anything. She just stops hoping internally while maintaining appearance externally. She's made decision but hasn't revealed it. She's left emotionally but hasn't left physically. Corpse is fresh. Decay hasn't shown yet. You missed this stage completely. Thought that argument was just argument. That conversation was just conversation. That day was just day. You had no idea decision was forming, crystallizing, becoming unchangeable. You were trying to fix relationship while she was accepting relationship couldn't be fixed. Stage 2. Emotional withdrawal. After decision crystallizes, emotional withdrawal begins. She starts pulling back investment, reducing engagement, creating distance, not dramatically, not obviously, gradually, systematically, methodically. She's protecting herself from pain of staying, preparing herself for pain of leaving. This shows up as decreased initiation. She stops starting conversations about future, stops suggesting activities together, stops asking about your day with genuine interest, stops sharing her day with real detail. She responds when you engage, but doesn't engage herself. She's present when required, but absent when optional. David noticed this with Rachel, but explained it wrong. She seemed less interested in couple things, less excited about plans, together less engaged in conversations. He thought she was stressed with work, thought she was tired, thought she was going through phase. She wasn't stressed, she was withdrawing. She wasn't tired, she was detaching. She wasn't going through phase, she was in process. Process of emotional exit, reducing investment so departure would hurt less. Creating distance so separation would feel natural. Emotional withdrawal also manifests as affection reduction. Physical touch decreases. Sex becomes obligation, not desire. Kisses become pecks, not passion. Hugs become brief, not embracing. She's still physically present, but emotionally absent. Going through motions without meaning. You experienced this, but misinterpreted it. Thought her decreased affection meant she was tired. Thought reduced intimacy meant she was stressed. Thought emotional distance meant she needed space. You gave her space thinking it would help space, just made withdrawal easier. She wasn't pulling away temporarily. She was leaving permanently. Wasn't creating distance to reset, was creating distance to exit. Every day of reduced engagement was day closer to departure. Every week of emotional absence was week deeper into process you couldn't see. Stage 3, future erasure. Once emotionally withdrawn, she starts erasing shared future, stops planning long-term, stops imagining years ahead, stops including you in vision of tomorrow. She's not thinking about anniversary, next year vacation, next summer retirement decades away. She's thinking about apartment she gets schedule. She have life. She build without you. This is invisible because she doesn't announce future erasure, doesn't say I'm not planning our future anymore. She just stops mentioning it, stops contributing to it, stops engaging with it. When you talk about plans, she's vague, uncommittal, distant. Robert noticed Rachel stopped engaging with future plans. He'd mention vacation they'd discussed. She'd say, maybe we'll see. He'd talk about house project for next year. She'd say, let's focus on now. He'd discuss retirement plans. She'd change subject. He thought she was being present-focused, thought she was practicing mindfulness, thought she was reducing stress by not worrying about future. She wasn't being present-focused. She was future erasing. She wasn't in your future, so she stopped pretending she was. Future erasure also shows up as independent planning. She makes decisions about her life without considering impact on relationship, books trip, without checking your schedule, accepts job opportunity without discussing with you, makes major purchase without consulting. She's operating as single person while legally married. You noticed this, but normalized it. Thought she was becoming more independent. Thought she was growing as individual. Thought she was developing autonomy. She was developing autonomy. Autonomy in preparation for being actually alone. She was practicing single life while still in relationship. Every decision she made without you was decision confirming future without you. Every plan she created independently was planned for life after you. She wasn't becoming independent within relationship. She was becoming independent from relationship. But here's what makes delayed awareness devastating. Understanding these stages doesn't change that you missed them. Stage 4, announcement preparation. Final stage before revealing decision is preparation. She's decided, she's withdrawn, she's erased future. Now she's preparing announcement, when to tell you, how to say it, what reasons to give, how to manage your reaction. This is when she becomes calm, eerily calm, stops fighting about small things, stops expressing frustration, stops caring about issues that used to bother her. You think relationship is improving, think she's happier, think things are getting better. Relationship isn't improving. She's detached completely. Your actions don't affect her anymore because she's not invested. She's cordial because she's leaving. She's pleasant because she doesn't care enough to be unpleasant. She's treating you like roommate. She needs to be polite too until lease ends. Michael watched Sarah become suddenly peaceful. Arguments stopped. Complaints ceased. She seemed content. He thought they'd turned corner. Thought marriage was healing. Thought his efforts were working. His efforts weren't working. She'd stopped caring whether they worked. She wasn't peaceful. She was detached. Wasn't content. Was checked out. Wasn't healing. Was preparing to announce death. Announcement preparation also includes logistics planning. She's figuring out where she'll live, how finances will split, when to tell family, what to tell friends. She's researching apartments, calculating costs, planning timeline. She's not thinking about saving marriage. She's thinking about executing divorce. You were completely unaware. Thought she was engaged in relationship while she was planning exit from relationship. Thought she was invested in future while she was preparing for future without you. Thought she was your wife while she was becoming your ex. These 4 stages: decision crystallization, emotional withdrawal, future erasure, announcement preparation. These happened over months, maybe year, maybe longer. Entire timeline where she was leaving and you were trying, where she was exiting and you were investing, where she was dying and you were reviving. This is crucial because it reveals you weren't fighting to save relationship. You were fighting to deny relationship was already dead. Of course, mortals think relationships end when someone says it's over, as if words create reality instead of revealing it, as if announcement causes death instead of confirming corpse. Thousands of years watching people leave long before they go, and you still think departure begins when they say, "I'm leaving." But here's what you need to understand about why you missed all this. Why you didn't see decision crystallization, didn't recognize emotional withdrawal, didn't notice future erasure, didn't catch announcement preparation. It's not because signs weren't there. It's because seeing signs meant accepting truth you couldn't accept. You saw decreased engagement, explained it as stress, you felt emotional distance, explained it as phase, you noticed future avoidance. Explained it as living in present, you observed her independence, explained it as personal growth. Every sign was visible. Every sign was explained away. Human mind protects itself from truths it can't handle, creates narratives that maintain hope, interprets data through lens of what you want to believe rather than what's actually happening you wanted to believe. She was still there, still invested, still yours, so you interpreted everything through that lens. She stopped initiating sex, you thought she was tired. She stopped planning future, you thought she was stressed. She stopped sharing emotions, you thought she needed space. Every behavior that indicated departure you reframed as temporary state rather than permanent trajectory. This is why delayed awareness is so devastating. You realize in retrospect that signs were everywhere, that truth was visible, that you saw, but didn't see, recognized, but didn't recognize, knew but didn't know. You had information. You refused conclusion. Looking back now, you can see it clearly, that conversation where she went. Quiet that week, where she seemed distant that month, where she stopped trying, all of it obvious, in hindsight, invisible. In moment, because seeing it required accepting it, and accepting it required facing it, and facing it required action you weren't ready to take. And this reveals brutal truth about delayed awareness. It's not that she hid departure well. It's that you needed to not see it. In all my time observing human relationships, this delayed awareness is among cruelest patterns. Because discovery happens after timeline passes, after windows close, after opportunities disappear. You learn she left in March when it's December. You understand she was done when it's too late to do anything about it. You see signs in retrospect that you were blind to in real time. She's been living in future without you, while you've been living in present with her. She's been emotionally divorced, while you've been trying to reconnect. She's been gone while you've been here. And that asymmetry, that gap between her reality and your perception, that's what makes announcement so shocking. You thought announcement was beginning. It's ending. You thought her leaving was departure. It's arrival. Arrival of truth at destination it reached months ago. You're finally catching up to where she's been. Finally seeing what she's seen. Finally knowing what she's known. But catching up doesn't change that you're 9 months behind. Doesn't change that she grieved while you hoped. Doesn't change that she's ready to move on while you're just beginning to process. Doesn't change that she left long before you noticed. So what do you do with this awareness now? This understanding that she's been gone for months. That relationship you were fighting for was already dead. That woman you were trying to reach had already emotionally exited. First, accept you can't resurrect what she's already buried. Can't revive what she's already mourned. Can't save what she's already ended. She didn't just decide yesterday. Even though she told you yesterday, she decided months ago, has been operating from that decision. Living that reality, preparing for announcement. Your fighting now won't change decision she made. Then your promises now won't matter to woman who stopped believing promises months ago. Your sudden awareness won't inspire her hope because she had hope. She tried hope, hope died. That's when she left. And recognize your grief is just beginning while hers is ending. She's been processing loss for months. You're processing loss for days. She's been living with ending while you thought you were living with struggling. She's emotionally ready to move on because she's been emotionally moving on for half year. This asymmetry means you can't expect her to wait while you catch up. Can't expect her to grieve with you when she's already grieved. Can't expect her to reconsider when she's spent months considering and concluded. She's not cold. She's complete. She's not cruel. She's concluded. She's not heartless. She's already processed heart. And this final piece determines whether you learn from delayed awareness or repeat it. And finally understand that delayed awareness is information for future, not present. Present relationship is over. She told you with everything except words for months. Words finally came, but ending happened long before words. You missed timeline, missed stages, missed signs, missed her leaving. Information is this: women don't announce departure when it happens. They announce departure when they're ready to announce it, and ready to announce happens months after decision to depart. There's entire hidden timeline where she's leaving, silently, internally, invisibly. And men who don't learn to see that timeline keep missing it. Next relationship, you'll know to watch for decision crystallization, to recognize emotional withdrawal, to notice future erasure, to see announcement preparation. You'll know that decreased engagement isn't stress, that emotional distance isn't phase, that future avoidance isn't present focus, that sudden calm isn't improvement. You'll see signs in real time that you saw in retrospect this time. You'll recognize departure beginning instead of discovering departure complete. You'll have window to respond instead of learning window already closed. Maybe you'll save relationship. Maybe you'll end it yourself. Maybe you'll at least not live with ghost for 9 months thinking it's person. She left you long before you noticed. Left you in moment you didn't witness. During conversation you don't remember. On day that seemed normal, she made decisions silently, withdrew emotionally gradually, erased future methodically, prepared announcement strategically, and you missed it. Not because she was deceptive, because you were desperate. Desperate to believe she was still there, still yours, still invested, desperate enough to explain away every sign, reframe every indicator, normalize every withdrawal. You weren't trying to save relationship. You were trying to avoid seeing relationship. Was already dead, she was corpse, you were denial. She was gone, you were pretending she was present. She left months ago, you noticed yesterday, and that delay, that gap, that's what devastates. She didn't leave you when she told you it's over. She left you long before that, you just missed it. And missing it meant living with ghost, trying to love corpse, fighting to revive what had no pulse. I watched exact moment she left. I see these moments across time, across thousands of relationships. Same pattern, woman deciding silently, man missing completely, woman leaving invisibly, man discovering belatedly. She left you long before you noticed, and you missed it. I'll be watching.